In the heart of the city, there's a lady so divine, with a gift so rare she can read between the lines, unlocking mysteries. She's the one we all admire. With a touch of magic, she sets our souls on fire. From psychic readings to rosemary oil so pure, her spirit shines bright. Of that I'm sure. On TV she graces the screen with grace. Her presence is a blessing in every time and place. Pop culture psychic, in tune with the stars. She sees beyond the veil, even beyond Mars. And when the night falls, Tracy after dark, her wisdom illuminates like a powerful spark. So if you seek guidance, look no further than her door. Tracy Brown live where wisdom does soar. Through the realms of the unseen, she'll light your way. With every word she speaks, darkness turns to day. Tracy Brown live, the beacon of light, guiding us through the shadows of night. Her voice like a melody, so pure and strong. In her presence, we know we belong. From psychic readings to rosemary oil so pure, her spirit shines bright. Of that I am sure. On TV, she graces the screen with grace. Her presence is a blessing in every time and place. Pop culture psychic, in tune with the stars. She sees beyond the veil, even beyond Mars. And when the night falls, Tracy after dark, her wisdom illuminates like a powerful spark. So if you seek guidance, look no further than her door. Tracy Brown live where wisdom does soar. Through the realms of the unseen, she'll light your way. With every word she speaks, darkness turns to day. Tracy Brown live, the beacon of light, guiding us through the shadows of night. Her voice like a melody, so pure and strong. In her presence, we know we belong. Tracy Brown live, the beacon of light, guiding us through the shadows of night. Her voice like a melody, so pure and strong. In her presence, we know we belong.
Hi everyone, how are you today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I've got a bit of I think it's a boring topic to me, but I also think that this is also something that's going to crash the monarchy. I've been watching Fergie for years, for absolute years. And I used to adore her when Princess Diana was around. But I remember thinking how bad she felt for Diana. Like that the Queen Mother hated them together. And at some point made an effort to separate these two. And then ultimately, Fergie did herself in because Fergie has a hard time keeping a straight and narrow. Fergie is like taking a, don't get mad at me guys, but Fergie is like taking a project girl on crack and then having her marry into the royal family. That's what Fergie feels like to me. Like the poorest of the poorest in Britain. I don't know who that is. Is that the Cockneys? Because they have a very like strong accent that is like unsophisticated. I think this is what I've been told. So is it like the Cockneys that talk very Cockney-like? I don't know what that is. And taking her and hold on, guys. Taking her and then putting her with the royals and saying, look, I made it. Except that you can't take the Cockney out. You also can't take the mentality out, because the mentality is almost like the goal is to be rich. The goal is to have money, right? Like, it's like taking Jay-Z, who sold crack, and then saying to Jay-Z, hey, we're going to upgrade you, and we need you to act accordingly. And what Jay-Z understands is money, and he understands money from a power male position. But you can't take the crack dealer out, because in the end, the only thing that he thinks is powerful is money. Does that make any sense what I'm trying to say? That if you think money is the ends all, in a weird kind of way, it is. It is the ends all. But if you think it's the ends all, and you come from being poor to the point where, like Jay-Z, you had to sell crack, and now you've made it, but is the crack dealer in you out? And so that means, will you still do anything for the money? Because to get to where you got, you had to do things. The very same things you have probably made a crack addict do to get a bargain on what you're selling. The powers that be with the big money, and you're the token. Oh, you had to feel some of what you have made the crack addicts do. And in Fergie's case, Fergie's just poor. Always has been. I don't think she has a royalty lineup, nor did I think, let me check. Nor do I think they cared, because they had the royalty lineup for what they needed. Andrew's children were never going to be a part of a system. Let me check to see if she comes from royalty. Is Fergie from royal bloodline, from a royal bloodline? I don't think she is. We know Diana was. Lord have mercy. No, she's not from any royal bloodline, which means she did not have to participate in any royal protocol in her upbringing, in her raising. So when she got Andrew, she was just like, I made it. No, wait, that's the wrong one. Fergie Duchess. They gave me the other Fergie, the singer. Is Fergie very common over there? Like, why? No, Sarah Fergie Ferguson, the Duchess of York, is not directly of royal bloodline. She is listed as a commoner by birth. Oh, listen to this. She is a descendant of King Charles II of England through two of his illegitimate children. So there's a break in the bloodline that could have made her a part of a bigger system. Now, I had high hopes for Fergie, um, but I saw the way she kept influencing Diana. And Diana was a Cancer, and Cancers are rebellions, but not directly. So in the beginning, when Fergie came along, she was the type, I don't know what sign Fergie is, but she has to be a money sign. Let me see when her birthday is. She has to be a money sign because she loves money way too much. Um, oh, she's a Libra. That's her showboating. I'm a little surprised. She's a Libra. Anyway, I want to see a birthday chart now. Moon in Aries. She got Libra, she got Aries. Hmm. Moon in Aries. Her ascendant is in Scorpio. Her Venus is in Virgo. That's why she married money, I guess. All right. Oof. Mars is also in Libra. Oh, no, no. Oh, why do you have to launch? I don't know. I don't know, sweetie. I don't know. StreamYard is always doing something. Let me say hi to everyone. Hi, Tanya C. Good morning. Good health. Not good morning. Atia, how are you, sweetie? Brown Sugar, how are you? Dovey, hello, everyone. Hi, Noel. How are you? Um, Hi, Jess Lahi. You changed your picture? Hi, Steven. So I do want to, I feel like I need to apologize, guys, for my rant on Cardi B the other day, and then I went off on Dupree, on Camilla. I think I'm having some personal issues, and which has nothing to do with the price in tea in China, but I just I just want to apologize. So I gave myself a break. I put myself in timeout. I gave myself a break, and I had to remind myself this is not who I want to be seen as. So I think the difference, I was trying to find out the difference between me and Tasha K. And I think I figured it out. Is Tasha K live or does she record? Answer that while I get more of this drink. Hi, Colton. All right. My concern is how are they going to drag Megan into this? Because you know they love to drag our girl Megan into all this shit. Let's see. Favorites. I didn't make it a favorite. Oh my God, she's so beautiful. Oh, that's weird. All right. I put that up. Am I going to be able to find it again? It took me forever to find it the last time. Oh, man. All right. Let me just get some things up on here. And then I can look for what I'm looking for.
Ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson, was fired today over his connections to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Emails published in the Sun newspaper this week showed Mandelson voicing his support for Epstein in 2008 as the disgraced financier was about to start a prison term for soliciting prostitution from a minor. Mandelson also appeared in a 2003 birthday book for Epstein, the same one that purportedly includes a note from Donald Trump. Mandelson's firing comes as Trump is due to visit the UK next week. Mandelson maintains that he knew nothing about Epstein's sex crimes.
I'm saying to you, before 2011, I would have been very uncomfortable about being an acquaintance of this gentleman. And so this for me typifies the real problem that we have with how abusers are able to abuse. Because there are so many enablers, Vanessa, and that's an uncomfortable thing for us to deal with. But there are so many enablers out there who have heard what is being said about a friend, an acquaintance, a colleague, etc. And they continue to ignore or facilitate, at worst, facilitate that disgusting behaviour.
That was not just Sarah Ferguson. That was a whole power lead in America and in the United Kingdom. It's not something peculiar to her.
Oh, no, I totally appreciate that. And I'm not suggesting, because I wouldn't dare do that, but what, in terms of Sarah Ferguson, but what I'm saying is I'm uncomfortable at what is coming out in the press. And what she would have known and what she is said to have followed in terms of the legal advice. Now, what I would say is, in terms of legal advice, there is legal advice and then there's your moral duty. And I say this to my clients all the time. I can give you legal advice, but you're the one who's going to have to look at yourself in the mirror at 2 a.m. in the morning. And so that ultimately is what you then decide to do with my advice. You can dismiss my advice, you can accept my advice, you can say, is there any other options, Taller? So to just sit back and say, oh, this was legal advice, I'm sorry, it's just not enough for me. And it was there in the printed press.
Sorry, I got a bit carried away. Right, so, I was with this woman until it came to the point where she backed down directly criticizing Fergie. And again, this is my problem right here. She was right. Nothing she said here was wrong. But then this guy made her kind of second guess herself and say, oh, no, Fergie wasn't the only one. Do you know all this tells me, guys? We need the royal family to go back to, sorry, not go back. We need to start holding them to a higher standard. And we need to start forcing these people to work. Yes. No more sucking off the taxpayer teeth. Go and get jobs. Go and get a job. George, Charlotte, and Louis, while they are in high school, should be working at a Makidi's. They should start earning money. Giving them allowances and allowing them to F off on gap years and, on luxury holidays is not helping them realize or even understand or fathom the value of money. But they are learning about entitlement. What happened to Fergie? What happened to Andrew? Whether or not you think they intentionally put themselves in this position, all of this comes down to a bunch of human beings who were never trained how to be independent people. So when they were left to fend for themselves without the taxpayer money, they had no choice but to interact with questionable individuals. Get the royal family to work. That's the solution. That is a starting point for how to modernize the royal family. Enough of eating off the taxpayer. Get real jobs.
The money, at one stage you had $40,000 cash sitting in front of you. Did you take it?
Absolutely, yes. And it was given to me and I got it in the car and then returned it straight away.
Once the scandal broke?
As soon as I knew it was a scandal, not once it broke, Michael. But don't try and trick me now, because I'm not going to play this game. Delete that bit. John, can you just delete it, please, that bit? Because I don't want to go down this...
Duchess, I'm asking very fair questions of you.
No, I just too tabloidy.
John.
He did a really good job with that. I really enjoyed that. But it got cut short, which upset me. And this is one of my favorite people in England.
Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Woo! Nothing like a good run to clear your mind and get your mental health in its right place. Anyway, what is this mess I'm reading about Fergie, the Duchess of York? Like, oh my goodness. These members of the royal family are so shameless, honestly. They are so shameless. I don't get it. They groveled at the feet, groveling at the feet of a pedophile, a convicted pedophile, keeping him close to our heart, clearly holding him in some high regard, borrowing money from him. Can somebody tell me, what is it with rich people wanting free things and begging other people for money? I don't get it. Like Prince Andrew would come to New York and stay at Epstein's place. Like, can't you afford a place of your own or stay in a hotel? I don't get it. Oh, okay, look. Bottom line is this. I think the royal family is utterly, utterly shameless. Utterly shameless. And the things that we let them get away with is disgraceful. That's what I think. This institution that people keep saying, you know, they're beyond reproach, don't hold them to account. This is the result of it. You have members of the royal family literally partnering, friendshiping with convicted pedophiles. Did you see the emails? She used words like hellaciously, and I humbly apologize because I didn't reply to you. I was trying to save my book deals. That was what was important to her, not the fact that he had committed heinous crimes, sex trafficked, he was a pedophile. None of that mattered. No. And have you noticed that everything they accuse Meghan Markle of is what this royal family is actually doing? Everything they've accused Meghan Markle of. The Duchess of York, Fergie, and the Duke of York, Prince Andrew, have profited disgustingly from their titles, from their influence and their position in the royal family. And every member of the royal family does that. And this is what they were accusing Meghan of. And it's clear that she's making her own money. And she was making her own money before she married Harry. But hey, what do you expect? Anyways, just thought I'll share my quick thoughts because I'm laughing my head off here. What an absolute disgrace of a British institution. Anyway, I shall carry with my run. Carry with my run. Ooh.
She is from England, and she is like a staunch Meghan Markle supporter. I'm just wondering how they're going to plan on dragging Meghan into this. They definitely want to pull Andrew out of the limelight. And I think a lot of this happened because there was a funeral of the Duchess of Kent or whatever. And I don't think Andrew was invited. I think Andrew and Fergie came on their own. And then Andrew was acting all cocky and shit because he's like, well, mom's dead. So y'all can't stop me. And so I'm coming to the funeral. And then he came to the funeral and somehow or another stood next to William. And William was clearly or visibly like upset. And I think that they always had the plug to pull on Andrew. And I think William, who is like the meanest of all the royals, I think William was like, No, I'm pulling the plug on you, bitch. I'm pulling the plug on you, like. But of course, how do they do it? They do it through his wife. That you think they just had these emails? These emails were back in 2011. Hey, Miss Kimberly. So I'm gonna move on, but we'll come back to the Royals in a minute. I've got this, and you know, guys, I normally don't make fun of people, and I hope I'm not making fun of her right now, but I just want you to see an update on Little Kim. Plan, but does she not look like a Oompa Loompa? I think she looks like a Oompa Loompa, and I think if some of you girls that are getting butt implants, Vivica Fox, hip implants, Cardi B, I think you all are headed to this. I'm gonna put it back up. But I'm not making fun of her. That's not what I do. This is a learning experience. Now, to me, the way she's standing, to me, she looks like she's in a lot of pain. So, my prayer is that the craze for hip and butt implants has ended. That's my prayer. I just don't think the transfer of fat relates to a healthy looking body. All right. Now, we're going to get back to the Royals. I want to do a reading on them, but I did want you guys to see these videos of, let me see if I can pull them up. One, why are they not together? Well, let's get recent. It's always happened to me. One, oh, here they all are. Okay, I don't know which one comes first. All the other contestants.
Although all the other contestants are cheering for this girl, and you might think that she is the winner.
The person that they're jumping and now, wait a minute. Did Miss really shade Missy Wassay when she answered this question?
What has been your biggest failure, and what has been the biggest learning experience from that?
Last year, I wanted to be a beauty queen, and I let other standards of beauty affect me. I put on a wig, I had my long hair, I covered my tattoos, but I didn't feel like me. Now, I accept myself, I love myself, and I respect myself. That is why I'm here with my own hair, showing you my heart, showing you my tattoos, showing you my skin.
Right off off the bat, I can see why the judges were probably not feeling her answer in comparison to Miss USA's, because Miss Cuba's response was giving very much dramatic and theatrical. It didn't really sound sincere. I saw where she was coming from in the beginning about feeling pressured by beauty standards, but where she lost me was the pick me ideology in the end, because what do you mean you love yourself and that's why you're showing up with your real hair and your real skin? Especially since her hair is clearly dyed, she has on makeup, lashes, and is that lip filler? And many people felt like she was shading Miss USA with the whole real hairline, and I'm not gonna say that Miss Cuba did that on purpose, but I do feel like the way she answered that question lacked proper nuance, right? Just because you wear minimal makeup and hair extensions doesn't mean you love yourself or hate yourself any more or less than somebody that loves to participate in the beauty aesthetics. Now, even though she was just speaking for herself, some people do feel like her answer came off as self-centered and judgmental, especially in comparison to Miss USA's answer.
My biggest failure in this life is being way too hard on myself. For all my life, I've strived to push for perfection, but perfection is something that does not exist. I have had to learn over time that it is okay to be exactly who you are. Not everything is perfect in this life. There are some things that you don't love, but with time and acceptance, you can always learn to love. That is what this life is about, taking the time to understand yourself, taking the time to give yourself that same love that you've always deserved from your inner child to who you are now.
Notice how Miss USA truly spoke from the heart, right? Her answer did not sound rehearsed. If anything, it sounded like she was giving advice to not only herself, but to others. Because unfortunately, striving to become a better version of yourself does unfortunately come at the expense of you not loving who you are or where you're at in the moment. Which is why it's important to give yourself grace and not chase perfection, because that truly does not exist. Instead, figure out what makes you happy and pursue that instead, because you'll be a lot more satisfied in the end. On a side note, this is the second time that Cuba lost to Miss USA, because our melanated queen also beat her during the preliminaries, which was Miss International Queen USA. Knowing that, now it makes sense why Girl was so bitter.
It was really this girl, Miss USA. And sadly, it seems that we know the reason why. It is called the Miss International Queen Beauty Contest, and the winner this year was Midori Monet from the USA. But after she was crowned winner, the entire event went downhill and it got so much more worser, as Miss Cuba, who ended up getting second place, was visibly not happy at all. Where Miss Cuba claims that she was BULLIED, where she was told that she looked like a man and had rocks thrown at her. And during her interview, she seemed extremely bitter. And even more insaner, we now know the reason why, because about 6 or 7 weeks ago, these two faced off against each other in the national pageant, where Miss USA ended up winning again. However, Miss USA after the event clapped back. Initially, a lot of people were mad because they thought that somebody transgender came in and won the pageant, when in fact, this is quite literally the most biggest transgender beauty contest, after it felt like literally none of the girls were happy that she won. A lot of people are saying that this is just straight up RASISM, and Miss USA had the most bestest response by staying positive and not stooping down to their level.
Win. The real winner is over here, and they totally excluded her.
History of tourism and sports. MC of the F District. International Public Company Limited.
Now, this happened at the Miss International Queen Beauty Pageant. If you don't know, it is the largest beauty pageant for transgender women. It's held every year in Thailand, which totally makes sense because Thailand is very LGBTQ plus friendly. And the winner this year was Miss USA. Her name is Midori Monet. The first runner-up was Miss Cuba, and the second runner-up was Miss Vietnam. And a lot of people feel like Miss Cuba was acting like a sore loser.
Throughout this competition, to say the least, I've been bullied. I have been told that I look like a man. I have been pushed. I have been thrown rocks at. And, well, it's a bit of a shock to see what's happened. This is very... It is what it is, and we have to move forward.
And what are your sentiments about the new winner?
I think the organization is going to have a lot of work to do, and if that's what they choose, but I'm so confused because this was beyond beauty.
She is such a sore loser, and she was not the only person getting bullied. Midori got bullied too. Like, was Miss Cuba expecting to win out of pity? I am so confused, and it is frying me how she is so stone-faced right here, whereas Miss Vietnam is all smiles and has no problem being graceful and congratulating Miss USA. And while I do understand she was frustrated and let down in the moment, right? If you don't clap for others, it'll never be your turn. And I'm still trying to figure out what this was all about, because why did only one person initially come up to congratulate Miss USA? And then when some of the contestants did start walking over to speak to Miss USA, the energy was still not the same. It wasn't as pumped and excited as what they gave Miss Cuba. But it's okay. We are gonna rock with Miss Malaysia because Miss Malaysia is rocking with us. She had no problem coming up to congratulate Miss USA, who deserved her win. She was well-spoken and so poised, which is exactly why Miss USA took home the crown. Meanwhile, all those other better buddies could do were frown.
Know if you guys saw this circulating on the internet, but I was perturbed from jump. I was perturbed. I mean, did they all collectively decide not to honor the winner collectively? And let me tell you something. I protect the gays. I speak up for transgenders. But I'm shocked to see so much racism in this moment. You know, racism, I've decided it is what it is. It's just in you. It is what it is. It doesn't, I've decided you could be gay and racist. I've decided you could be a transgender and racist. I decided you could be unconsciously collective and racist. Like, did they all get together backstage, or was like, oh, if Miss Cuba loses, let's all run over to Miss Cuba? Are you all 5 years old? Are you all a bunch of babies? Like, get out of here. I'm so disappointed. But I think it's important to be fully aware that racism just exists. And you know what, guys? I'm probably one of the few channels that stay consistently talking about race and promoting Black people, or very protective of Black women. And I do it at least once a week, if not 5 days a week, right? At least once a week, if not 5 days a week. But I'm also very big on colorism. Like, I'm gonna root for the dark-skinned girls. I'm gonna root for them. I'm gonna root for their right to participate and win. I mean, I think if we were to take an account, you know, in terms of the different shades of Black, right? Dark skin is the multitudes. Oh. So I'm glad that whatever her name is, the beauty, USA transgender beauty that won, I don't know her name. I'm glad she wasn't light-skinned. I'm glad she didn't have to be light-skinned. I'm glad she was as chocolate as she was, and she's so pretty. I mean, like, not as pretty as she is. I mean, although, hello, I'm older now. I'm not supposed to stay young and pretty. That's not the way God designed, you know, society. Although I have to tell you, I don't know. I'm looking at the British women, and they're not pretty at all. Some of the people that do Sky News and British News, like, do they purposely pick people, and I don't mean people of color, by the way, I mean all of them, do they purposely pick them to be unattractive? But the men can be pretty attractive, but the women, do they purposely say to them, like, you must look like a Oompa Loompa? I'm asking. I'm not being rude. Am I being rude? Am I going to have to apologize for this tomorrow, too? Just asking. I'm just shocked at how many British people on the news are unattractive. You could be young. You could be my age. It doesn't matter. It runs the gamut of ugly. Oh. I'm just pointing it out. Okay, I will think about this when I get off the show. I'm going to be like, Tracy, that was mean. Go back tomorrow and apologize. And I will apologize because I will see the error of my ways. Or should I just apologize? See, I would show you guys in my research for Fergie. Okay, let's just use Fergie as an example. Fergie's my age. Why don't they age well? Is the wind bad over there? I'll show you. Let's use Fergie because she's in so much trouble as an example of how all the women look over there. When does the beauty stop? At 15? Hold on. I'm being rude. I know it. Tracy, you're rude. I know. I mean, find Kris Jenner's surgeon. Somebody. You guys have enough money? Find a surgeon that will pull the skin back. Oh. I want you to do better, UK women. My God. Oh, wait. Cancel. Look at that picture. What happens to the skin? The toning, the coloring of the skin. And that's with makeup. Why are the eyes in a sunken place? Why are the eyebrows lopsided? I don't have hope for Kathleen because she's starting to show signs of British woman looking. She's lucky she's in a royal because that might have helped a little bit, but she's starting to show signs too. Kathleen, the HRH. The only one that never showed signs was Diana. I don't know how Diana escaped. Ugly. This is how most of the UK newscasters look. But the men don't look like this. There, look at the neck. Look at the size of her mouth. Look at the amount of creases. Now, I know it's very common to have the crow's feet around your eyes for non-color people, Europeans and European Americans. Y'all get a lot of crow's feet, but I gotta tell you something. I'm very impressed with European Americans in America. Y'all have worked on yourselves. Y'all have created ass. Maybe it's not big asses, but sometimes our asses are too big. But y'all have created plump asses. Everybody likes fake breasts, but I've noticed that European Americans, which, you know how we call ourselves Black Americans? I'm calling them European Americans because they're not from here either. In America, the European Americans are looking stellar. They are doing things to preserve their youth, and I'm so proud of them. And I've had to tell many of white European Americans, I'm always like, you don't look your age. And they're like, I know. Like, they're shocked. But the European Americans are really taking care of their health, their beauty, their stress levels, and all of that is making them much younger looking. Yes. Yes. Yes, Diana escaped all that piecing out early. Yes. Now, the other thing I want to be able to tell you guys, they hated Diana so much that given if she had not passed when she did, which I don't remember when she passed, Jeffrey Epstein would have been in the picture. And it's my understanding that Fergie was at some of these parties too. It's my understanding that Fergie borrowed money up to $2 million from Jeffrey Epstein. It's my understanding that Jeffrey Epstein was such a charmer, he probably would have had Diana at his house too. And so Fergie's getting all of this bad rap, but just imagine if it was Diana and Charles needed to annihilate Diana. Just imagine. So sometimes, y'all, sometimes God takes you early to save you. Yep. Sometimes I was talking to my the house that my sister lived in, and a judge was calling me in because he wanted me to prove my residency. Now, I already knew. If you're going to be a conservator, you have to live in the state of the person that you're conservator over. I already knew that. And I left anyways. The one thing I will never do, I will never follow the rules. And I left anyway. But I left because of COVID. I couldn't see my sister. I didn't know how long it was going to last. I figured if we're all going to die, I wanted to go to a land I had never been to, my family's land. I could not see my sister. So if we're all going to die, we were going to die in separate places anyway. So I left. And I've been here 4 years. And I go back to visit her every year. And I stay at a hotel. Every time I go to a hotel, my sister says, because I can't tell her the truth, right? Because she'll rat on me. And I would go to a hotel and she goes, is this your new apartment? And I go, yes. So, oh, I like this apartment. I like this apartment. The year before she died, I went to go see her. And for the first time, I should have known she was dying. We go to the hotel, and she clearly says to me, I like your hotel. What? What do you want me to say? So I should have known she was dying because the faculty was all like coming together all of a sudden. Pissed me off. And then they called me and they were like, oh, the judge needs to see you. And I was like, oh, for what? Well, he needs to check your residency. And did she live in Glendale? What I was like, yeah, she did live in Glendale. Well, we didn't know she transferred to Compton. I was like, It's not my fault. Like, I don't understand. Well, we need to be notified when she transferred. Okay. Well, the judge needs to see you. And so I said, well, I don't know if it matters at this stage of the game because she died. And the woman was like, oh, yeah. See, bitch? Yeah. You thought you were going to catch this black chick? No. If I didn't know, Tony knew. Tony was like, I'm getting the fuck up out of here, sis. They about to catch you. You gotta love Tony. You have to. In the end, she knew because they were trying to, y'all don't know the whole story, but they were trying to reinstitutionalize her. And one of the things that I fought against was any institution. Anyhow, maybe God took Diana so that her legacy could be left intact, so that Prince Harry's children can have dignity. Not William's children. Prince Harry's children. Because ultimately, the way I see it, if everybody's not careful, Prince Harry will be king. Wait a minute. But nobody believes me, so it doesn't matter. Anywho. Oh, the royals are notorious for living long and aging poorly. I think you're right. I think that what's... Oh! Look at you! What a good way of looking at Aaliyah's death. I think that's what happened with Aaliyah. She might have gotten canceled for not testifying against R. Kelly. If she was living during a trial and even this Diddy stuff. Because you know we will turn on a dime. Oh, I love Aaliyah. I love Aaliyah. Oh, you didn't testify against R. Kelly, you trash. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Monilla, you absolutely right. Hi, Miss Kimberly. So, what looks sad? So, I had a good question for the Royals, but now I can't think of it. Is this the end? Is this the beginning of the end for the Royals? Y'all got to be on royalty watch because in the end, I really don't think Charles is going to let William do and be what he wants to be. Or maybe the fight will come after Charles passes, although I have to tell you, it doesn't sound like he's passing anymore. After Charles passes, and maybe Camilla will be the one to rock the Royals. Because that bitch is a bitch. Now, talk about a lack of sophistication, and she's in money. And there's just a goofiness about her that is mortifying. Please, God, talk to me. Talk to me about the Royals. Please allow me to see anything and everything that you would like for me to see. The Royals are your children. They are your loves. They are your beloveds, Father God. Please authorize me to see and say what you would like for me to say and see. I love you, God. I love you, Jesus. In your name I pray. Amen. Amen. Ashe. Okay. If anybody would like a reading with me, contact me 213-458-7408. Please subscribe and please like. Everything is in my alleged opinions. All right. This is about self-sabotage, guys. And the self-sabotage is going to come through this man. When was William born? He was born in July, I believe. Harry, I don't know Harry's sign. Hold on, guys. Ah, William is born in June 21st. That's why he acts the way he is. Ah, June 21st begins Cancer. They made him a Cancer, but I'm actually wondering if he is a Gemini. I'm actually wondering if he's a Gemini. I'm wondering if they manipulated his birth time. They have him born at 9:03 p.m., which means it would have fully been in Cancer in 1982. Hold on, guys, I'm checking something. It entered into Cancer at 5 o'clock on the day of his birthday. So, anytime after 5. He would have been born a Cancer. My cards are telling me he's probably more Gemini. And that's what we're seeing revealed. We're seeing, because when Gemini gets mad, they're unforgiving. They're not nice at all when they get mad, and they can't stop from being mad. So whenever you're cuspy, you always have a recipe. Now, the day of the switcheroo, you're almost 50-50. Ezra is like that. He's almost 50-50, although his Sagittarian does rise up very, very strongly. But out of all the earth signs, Capricorns are the most vocal and vibrant. So he's just got the combination of the two inside of him. My son was born on the 23rd of September, but there's still a recipe. So it could be 60-40, Virgo, Libra, 80-20, Libra, Virgo, but you still have a recipe when you're born in the prior month. Anytime after the 1st, you're truly within that sign. Anything before, then you have a recipe. So, hey, Jenny G. Now, is he a Cancer? Absolutely. Unless they manipulated his chart, he would be better seen if his chart said Cancer, but technically, he does act like a Gemini. I'm sorry. His adult life is like a Gemini. All right. Money will begin to fall because of this scandal. I don't think they can clean this up very well. They're going to try and look at their portfolios and try to make sure that they salvage some of their personal portfolios. The richness of the monarchy is present, but everything could turn around greatly. They're doing a lot of magic right now to stop the bleeding. There seems to be a lot of problems going on right now, particularly since Queen Mother has died. I don't know who this is. I don't know the sign of Queen Mother. Oh, look, another man comes through. I know Charles is a Scorpio. Time is up. Time is up next to the royal money. I have to say, time is up for the love that people have for the royals and the greediness of the money that they're always trying to get. We're going to start to see some fluctuations in the royal stable money. Their monies are no longer going to become consistently valuable. I think it's going to go up and then down, particularly of personal portfolios is what I'm getting. I think the presentation is going to make people believe that they have money still. And I want to say they do. But I also think that there's going to be a problem with the state giving them money. So I think it's going to be more than just them. I think it's going to come down to what are their allowances that the state gives them. And if the state decides to hold back on giving the royals some of the monies that they normally would be entitled to, that's when we're going to see their personal portfolios dip. I think Prince Andrew and his wife, who now live together, I believe they are the beginning of the end of royal life. I think that people can't trust them anymore. I think they're worried about like the sustainability that they give them money to live off of. I think that people in the UK are going to become more like the people in Nepal, not necessarily against the parliament, but definitely against the royals. I feel like they think they are wasting their monies. I think ultimately they're going to convince Parliament to stop giving them so much money. I think this scandal is going to show that the love these people have for them is not that they don't love them, it's that, why am I broke? And the state gives you money to be pedos. So, I definitely think it's coming down to addressing all of this wealth and how much do you all really care, and figuring out that William never does anything for the people, ever. And people are like getting really, really tired of William. They're like, you're a little bitch. It's almost like he has a mental disability, like he's like in constant depression. Or at least with Harry, we saw Harry act out his depression since his mom died. We never really saw William dealing with it. And now that he's old enough, he's like, fuck you all. I don't have to do anything. But it is the one thing that's going to wind up hurting the monarch. And I also don't think William cares about the monarch. I think that William, in a quiet kind of way, is kind of hoping that this all does end. They have a lot of moral issues. A lot of men keep coming into this. And the energy is going to get eclipsed. Like, these people can't stand a lot of deception. Look, ironically, the high priestess is a cover-up card, which means they carry some deception, particularly sex issues. Right underneath it is this the main deceptive card, the card of illusion. There might be more issues involving children, particularly with Andrew. Or children at the monarch. There's been a couple of children found dead in the palace. No money in the world that they could offer up is going to take care of their karma anymore. And look, mostly men. This palace is going to fall apart because of the men. So as much as everybody wants to blame Fergie, Andrew was the pedophile. Fergie didn't meet Epstein. Andrew introduced Epstein to Fergie. Like, come on, people. There's going to be a suggestion to tie up loose ends with the royals and kind of shut it down. I know for a fact that King Charles loves being king. He waited too long, so it won't happen during his reign. I think by the time William takes over, or they might have an agreement that when William passes, they will start to shut down the monarchy and have it more for show than to have any more pomp and circumstances in terms of like even protection money, protective money. There could be something in place where they might preserve King George just in case. But I think it's going to come down to King George not wanting to be king. I think that if they shut down the monarch without William totally agreeing with it, then William could throw his hands and be like, fuck you all. And so that's when they might have to have a conversation with Harry and let Harry know that William is so ornery that he is not participating in the way the public wants to see the monarchy be maintained. Because they do want it to be maintained. They just don't want to pay out so much money for it to be maintained. So they want it in name alone. And they still want to watch the genealogy track of it all. Because they might bring it back. But for right now, they want to dissolve everything that brings the king to the king. And William doesn't want to be king anyway. So I think he's going to be like, shut it down. I don't care. But then they're going to think about it and like, yeah, we could shut it down, but there could be some consequences in shutting it down 100%. So we don't want to shut it down 100%. We particularly want to preserve your child, George. But Catherine's not going to be able to take over. If William doesn't take over, he'll never let that happen. And so I think at some point they're going to have a conversation with Harry and say to Harry, will you hold the throne for George? And let us go through the rigmarole, which could take 10 years to figure out how to dismantle the royal funds, the royal Belmore Castle, the royal diamonds, the jewelry. And somebody has to stand in and have these conversations so that when all is said and done, everything was taken care of properly with protocol, with new rules in place, because no one's ever dismantled a monarchy, right? Like properly dismantle it, right? Maybe in some countries it just disappeared. They don't want that. They want the history to remain because there's something very, very important about the next 3 kings. And I feel like the next 3 kings, if William doesn't do right and take on the kingship and shows his ass and decides not to play by the game and the rules, because it just means more work and he's like constantly depressed, I think he's just going to be like, fuck it and fuck you all. I don't think he realizes that they're going to go to Harry. And they're going to be like, okay, we have a situation. We can't get William to do anything. We always knew this could be a problem. But now we're here. And we do want to dismantle the monarchy. But we just can't get rid of it. It would bring chaos and financial ruin if we do it William's way. Like he'll ruin the country. Could you and Meghan step in? Hold the title. And be with us as we figure out how to dismember, for all improper words to use, the castle, the history, the monarchy, because everything has to be recorded. And we're not going to do this in a year's time. We need somebody to sit on the throne. And I think Harry's going to sit on the throne. I think he's going to sit on the throne. And I think when he sits on the throne, because they're trying to dismantle the monarchy, the throne, he's not going to wear a crown. He's not going to wear those stupid little costume capes. He's going to wear a suit. He's not going to show up at dinners wearing a crown. He's going to show up as Harry. Because he's going to be like, I'm king, but I was never meant to be king. So I'm not going to be king and act like king. I'm holding space for George. So I'm going to do everything in a suit. Maybe I'll wear a slash. But other than that, I'm holding space. But I do feel like this is the beginning of the end. Now, I said this, I believe, when Queen Mother died. And she's nowhere to be found here in these cards. So she's long gone. What I see here is a bunch of men fucking the monarchy up. I don't know who they are. I don't even care. But the men will fuck this up. There's not a woman to be found here. So, Fergie did nothing but follow the lead of her husband, who wanted to chase after 13 and 14-year-olds. Fergie needed money like a crack addict in the UK. And she needed money to survive. I'm not saying any of this is okay. I'm just saying this led to You're My Supreme Friend, Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, look at that. Upside down, child eternal. This is William. Inability to grow up and be responsible. Extreme dependency on the crown for physical security. That's William. If anybody is going to throw the monarchy into disarray, it's going to be William. He hates them. Determination to remain, Eternus manifests as an inability to grow up and accept responsibility. That's definitely William. He wants no parts of the maturity that it takes to lead the firm. His grandmother is the last remaining person that led the firm. The only other person that would have done a wonderful job at it is Diana. Beyond that, Harry is going to understand from a governmental position that he's going to take the throne, but only to dismantle all the protocols and leave room for George to take over. George, however, may never take over. So we're going to have to wait until George is like 35 years old to want to take over. But I don't think he's going to do it. Hi, Infinite. Good afternoon. Yep. Sandra, like Tracy says, the cards in spirit never lies. Look at the card. Never lies. Child eternal upside down. Game of Thrones. That's a good one, Desiree. William is always angry. Yeah, because he doesn't want to be there. It's so sad. All right, guys, I am going to get up out of here. And I'll be back on today. And again, I'd like to apologize to anyone during my Cardi B rant. Please forgive me, especially Dupree. Please forgive me. That's it. I just want to apologize. I could explain why, but does it matter? No. Just let me say I'm sorry. All right, everyone. Love you dearly. Take it easy. Bye.
In the heart of the city, there's a lady so divine, with a gift so rare she can read between the lines, unlocking mysteries. She's the one we all admire. With a touch of magic, she sets our souls on fire. From psychic readings to rosemary oil so pure, her spirit shines bright. Of that I am sure. On TV she graces the screen with grace. Her presence is a blessing in every time and place. Pop culture psychic, in tune with the stars. She sees beyond the veil, even beyond Mars. And when the night falls, Tracy after dark, her wisdom illuminates like a powerful spark. So if you seek guidance, look no further than her door. Tracy Brown live where wisdom does soar. Through the realms of the unseen, she'll light your way. With every word she speaks, darkness turns to day. Tracy Brown live, the beacon of light, guiding us through the shadows of night. Her voice like a melody, so pure and strong. In her presence, we know we belong. From psychic readings to rosemary oil so pure, her spirit shines bright. Of that I am sure. On TV, she graces the screen with grace. Her presence is a blessing in every time and place. Pop culture psychic, in tune with the stars. She sees beyond the veil, even beyond Mars. And when the night falls, Tracy after dark, her wisdom illuminates like a powerful spark. So if you seek guidance, look no further than her door. Tracy Brown live where wisdom does soar. Through the realms of the unseen, she'll light your way. With every word she speaks, darkness turns to day. Tracy Brown live, the beacon of light, guiding us through the shadows of night. Her voice like a melody, so pure and strong. In her presence, we know we belong. Tracy Brown live, the beacon of light, guiding us through the shadows of night. Her voice like a melody, so pure and strong. In her presence, we know we belong.